Question number 5. This is the third type of sum where we are supposed to find monthly deposit. This is a board examination 2005 sum. The question states Mr. Nair gets rupees 6,455 at the end of 1 year at the rate of 14% per annum in a recurring deposit account. Find the monthly installment. So first step, I will write down the data that is available. Maturity value is rupees 6,455. Rate of interest is 14% per annum. Number of months is equal to 12. Maturity value, this is our formula. On substituting respective values, I get this step. Maturity value is 6,455. I am supposed to calculate monthly installment. That means I am supposed to calculate D in this particular equation. On further simplification, I get 6,455 is equal to D into 12 plus the interest part on simplification gives me D into 91 upon 100. The denominator here is 100. I multiply throughout the equation by 100. So I get this step. Next step, I get left hand side, I keep it as it is, 6,455 into 100, and right hand side on simplification gives me 1291D. On further simplification, I get D equal to 500. So my monthly installment is rupees 500. Question number 6, identical to question number 5, where we had to find the monthly installment. Maturity value rupees 8088. Rate of interest is 8% per annum. Number of months is 36. Maturity value is given by this formula. On substituting the respective values, I get this step. So everything remains the same. I have only simplified the interest part, where I get D into 12 into 37 upon 100. Next step, I get as 8088 is equal to 36D plus 4.44D, which gives me 8088 is equal to 40.44D. So I get D is equal to 200. So the final answer for this sum is monthly installment is rupees 200. This is our last type of sum where we are supposed to find time. The question is, the maturity value of a RD account is rupees 16,176. If the monthly installment is rupees 400 and the rate of interest is 8%, find the time of this RD account. So the data provided to us is as follows. Monthly deposit is rupees 400. Rate of interest is 8% per annum. Maturity value is rupees 16,176. Formula for maturity value is as follows. On substituting the respective values, I get this step. Now whenever the question is find time, that means you are supposed to find n, then always on simplification of this equation, you will get a quadratic equation. So please do remember this. Whenever the question is find time, on simplification of this equation, you will always get a quadratic equation. That means this equation also, when we simplify, it's going to become quadratic. On further simplification, I get this step. Denominator is 3. I multiply throughout by 3. So I get this. So on simplification of the equation, I get this step. Divide throughout by 4. So finally I get my quadratic equation as n square plus 301n minus 12,132 equal to 0. If you observe in this quadratic equation, the last term has a minus sign, which means you have to find two terms or two factors such that on subtracting them you should get 301. So let us start with the prime factorization method of the last term, 12,132. Divisible by 2, I get this, divisible by 3, again divisible by 3. So you will note here 337 and 36, when you subtract them, you get 301. So my factors are 337 and 36. So this quadratic equation can be further simplified as n square plus 337n minus 36n minus 12,132 equal to 0. The further steps are self-explanatory. So you get n equal to minus 337 or n equal to 36. Number of months cannot be negative, or you can say time cannot be negative. So minus 337 cannot be the answer. So our final answer for this sum is, time period for this account is 36 months. This question is similar to our previous sum. Here again we are supposed to calculate time. The data provided is as follows. Monthly deposit is rupees 600. Rate of interest is 10% per annum. Maturity value is rupees 24,930. This is the formula for our maturity value. On substituting respective values, I get this step. Please note here again, the unknown in this equation is n. And as I have mentioned earlier, whenever the unknown is n, we will always get a quadratic equation. So this equation, when we simplify further, it will become quadratic. On simplification of this equation, I get this step. You will note in this equation on the right hand side, the denominator is 2. So multiply throughout by 2. So when you multiply throughout by 2, I get this step. On further simplification of the equation, I get this as my quadratic equation. Divide throughout by 5. So finally I get n square plus 241n minus 9972 equal to 0. Here again you will note that the last term has a minus sign, which means I have to find two numbers such that on subtracting them I should get 241. So let us start with prime factorization of 9972. Divisible by 2, I get this step. Divisible by 3, I get this. Again divisible by 3. Here you will note 277 and 36. When I subtract them, I get 241. So my factors are 277 and 36. So this quadratic equation can also be written as n square plus 277n minus 36n minus 9972 is equal to 0. So this is my next step. And I get two values for n. N is minus 277 or n equal to 36. Time cannot be negative, or you can say number of months cannot be negative. So minus 277 cannot be my answer. So the final answer for this sum is 36 months.